Brendan Sorsby has been granted an injunction that will make him eligible to play for Texas Tech in 2026. Now, it should be noted that the judge was a guest judge from Fort Worth because the original judge in this case had to recuse himself because he was a Texas Tech alum, and therefore it was a conflict of interest. So this guest judge, Ken Curry, who was again presiding over this case in Lubbock County, Texas, said in his decision, "This court finds that the applicant has demonstrated that he will suffer a probable, imminent, and irreparable injury if this court does not issue this temporary injunction because he will be unable to participate as a member of Texas Tech University's 2026 football team, including Texas Tech's 2026 football season, and benefit from the elite coaching, training, resources, camaraderie, and regimen that only being a member of a Division I college football team can provide. Build the skills necessary to maximize his own success during the college football season, as well as that of Texas Tech's football team and each of its players. And 3, make an informed decision regarding whether to enter the 2026 NFL supplemental draft." So if you don't know what's happening right here, let's get you up to speed. So previous court filings had shown that incoming Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby had made at least $90,000 in impermissible wagers since 2022, and he'd made bets while at every school he'd been at. So first he was at Indiana in 2022, and this is the one that a lot of people are really focusing on. When he was at Indiana in 2022, Sorsby placed thousands of bets, over 2,900, including some on the Indiana football team that he was on at the time. In his affidavit, Sorsby said, "I rationalized placing those bets as a way to feel more connected to the team, to root for my friends, and to feel like I had a real stake in the games that I was otherwise not involved in." You know what else could help you feel more connected to the team? How about going out there and connecting with your teammates that you see every day at practice? How about standing on the sidelines at the games with them? A couple days ago, I met 2 or 3 people who play for TCU right now. After, I met them, we talked for a while. It was awesome. I had a great time meeting them. But after meeting those guys and talking to them for a while, I felt more connected to TCU football, despite the fact that not only did I not ever play for TCU, but I graduated from there 4 years ago. If you want to feel more connected to your team, go be with them. Don't bet on them. Go be with them. Go cheer them on the sideline. Who knows? Maybe you'll get your shot. It doesn't matter that you lost most of your bets because y'all were ass at the time. You don't need to be betting in the first place. That's not going to help you feel more connected to your team. Being on the team is going to help you feel more connected to your team. Look, man, I'm sorry. I got to calm down. So, somebody who I've been watching a lot recently is Lucy Roden. She's a journalist. She's awesome. But she is an Iowa football fan, as she mentions a lot in her videos. She has pointed out previously while covering this specific case, talking about Brendan Sorsby, she mentioned that Iowa football players permanently lost eligibility for betting on the women's basketball team. They didn't bet on their own team. They bet on another sport from their own school and completely lost eligibility. During that same investigation, Iowa State players were found to have made bets from family members' accounts on games that they played in. One player who had been drafted into the NFL at the time, he was already gone, and he was playing for the Broncos. He was suspended from the NHL for violating gambling rules. Everyone who bet directly on a game that they were involved in permanently lost eligibility. This brings us back to today. We have a player who bet $90,000 total, including almost $30,000 in 2022-23 alone. That's the season that I mentioned earlier. Over 2,900 bets at Indiana alone, including at least 40 on the football team while he was on the team. When he moved from Indiana to Cincy, he started using accounts that were not registered to his name to gamble and sending money to friends to deposit into those accounts. And he's done the same thing after he came to Texas, a state where gambling is illegal. Not only that, Brendan Sorsby was underage when he was at Indiana. He was 18. The gambling laws in Indiana state that you have to be 21 plus to bet on sports. So not only was he betting on his own team, not only was he doing all this other stuff, he was underage. When he moved to Texas, right, he was still doing all this. And keep in mind, gambling's illegal here. The NCAA's court filings say that Sorsby had not voluntarily sought to enter rehab for his gambling addiction until he and Texas Tech were notified that he was under investigation for gambling. So not only was he still doing it when he came to Texas to go play for Texas Tech, the reason he went was because they were like, hey, we're investigating you. So wagwan. Right? Look, man, what are we doing here? How is this real? What power does the NCAA actually have if they cannot enforce the most basic rules? That's the cardinal sin in sports. Don't gamble. That's the one thing, man. What are we doing here? If the courts are telling the NCAA that they cannot enforce this rule because it's going to do irreparable harm to this guy because, oh, he can't be on the team. Oh, boo-hoo. What are we doing here? There are no consequences in college athletics. And if there are no consequences, then that means there are no rules. Where do we go from here? I mean, look, man, I'm not about to crucify somebody for having a gambling addiction. Addiction is a serious, serious thing. And it's incredibly difficult to go through, and it's incredibly difficult to beat. I am incredibly happy that Brendan Sorsby went and got help for it, because that is a huge, huge step. But you can't break the rules. The rules are still the rules. You can't break them. Especially not the ones that threaten the integrity of the game like this does. And this is just one case right here. You know, we talked about the Iowa case that was both Iowa and Iowa State. Right now, this is happening. You know, we've just had the NBA scandal that dropped a couple months ago. This is not going to be the last time this happens. It's not. According to an Ole Miss paper from 2025, 39% of college students across 7 Mississippi universities gambled in a variety of formats. Of those who engaged, 10% were at risk for problem gambling, and 6% met the American Psychological Association, the APA criteria for problem gambling. 36% of students reported seeing daily sports betting ads, and 38% at least once per week. Keep in mind, this is in a state where gambling is also illegal. Sports betting has been so normalized to the point where a lot of people, at this point, we just joke about it. You're like, someone gets mad over an event, they're like, oh, I guess your parlay didn't hit. Like, it's just a joke at this point. It's been so normalized that people don't bat an eyelid anymore. There are going to be more cases like this in the future. And the worst thing is that it's going to get more and more obvious. And when it does, the NCAA will have no ground to stand on when that case comes along, because the courts just walked all over them today. This is a serious, serious issue, and it's going to threaten the integrity of the game. You know, I mentioned the NBA betting scandal just a little bit ago. How long is it until we see more obvious signs of stuff like that on the field in college football? Are we already seeing obvious signs of it? In the future, when things like this, and I think about Texas Tech's upcoming season, if Brendan Sorsby makes a bad play or something like that, how are fans going to be able to tell if someone just had an off throw or something like that, they made the wrong decision in the moment, or if there's something devious going on? I just don't know where we go from here. It's really just, this is an awful ruling for college sports, and it makes me very upset. This could have happened to, like, yes, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're a TCU fan. Man, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If this had been Jaden Craig, I would have said the same thing. Like, I'm just very upset, and I'm concerned about where the sport's going. Because at this point, it just seems like you can just break all the rules that you want. As long as you get a friendly judge to back you up, you're free to do whatever you want. And this is a very, very bad sign for the future of college sports. That's really it. That's all I had to say.